We want you. We are LTU, Lawrence Technological University, and is one of the nation's best schools for engineering, architecture, and technology. We don't want just anybody. We want students who are curious and driven, students who want to change the world through technology, science, and design. So if you believe that possible is everything, we want you at LTU.
Good evening, and welcome to another special State Champs Sports Network production, our second annual College Football Signing Day Special, presented by Lawrence Tech. I'm Lauren Plant. Wednesday is National Signing Day, and our show tonight will talk up our top student athletes from the state of Michigan and where they're going. A superb collection of analysts are here. We're talking the top blue chips. We'll have a very lively debate as we pit Michigan versus Michigan State. We'll hit on the MAC, the GLIAC, and small schools too. And we'll wrap it up with a look at what's next, the top juniors. This is the 2014 State Champs Signing Day Special. State Champs 2014 Signing Day Special is presented by Lawrence Technological University. Possible is everything. Go to ltu.edu for more information. We begin this year's Signing Day Special with a collection of gentlemen who clean up nicely, I must say. Tom Markowski of the Detroit News, Alan True, Midwest Football Recruiting Manager for Scout.com, and Kyle Bogenschutz, also a reporter and writer for Scout.com. He's our recruiting specialist for the State Champs Sports Network and a recent hire at 97.1 The Ticket. Thanks for being here, boys.
Excited to be here.
Let's get it on.
Let's do this. State of Michigan's top blue chips, okay? Those who we believe are the cream of the crop of this year's class. This is our top 10. We're going to start with our elder statesman, showing respect to Mr. Markowski of the Detroit News. And Tom, who are the guys that jump out at you on this one?
Malik McDowell out of Southfield, who Scout has number 1 in the state of Michigan. I have him number 3. But he's going to be a bonanza for whatever team gets him, whether they want him to play at defensive end, defensive tackle. They could even switch him to the offensive side, which he has not played for the last 2 years. But I think he's a bonanza for either side of the ball. Hey, 6'6", 290 pounds. A lot of the recruiters are telling me the colleges would love to see him on the offensive side, would love to see him at offensive tackle, but right now he can play both ways, and it'll be interesting to see just where he ends up and what school he ends up at.
Yeah, Matt Sokol, too, another guy who stands out.
Well, I think Matt Sokol, he hasn't played tight end a whole bunch in high school, but he will at Michigan State. He enrolled early just for that reason, to learn more about the position, to work with the quarterbacks, to work with the coaching staff, to build himself up. He's at 225 right now. Easily could get to 240, 250 at 6'5". He's got a big frame, great hands, played quarterback all through high school. I think he's a sleeper in this whole recruiting class.
Yeah, all right. Let's send it over to Alan. And Alan, big quarterback heading to the Big Ten.
Yeah, Tyler Wiegers from Detroit Country Day. He's heading down to Iowa. Grew a lot over between his junior and senior year after a state title. He really got a state title game. He got in a weight room, got up to 6'4", 218 pounds. Big, strong-armed kid, has played in a pro-style offense. They throw the football all over the field. I think he's a really good fit at Iowa. I always say less talented quarterbacks have had success at Iowa than Tyler Wiegers. I think he's really going to do well there. And then you can move down the list a little further to Jonathan Williams. Maybe not a guy that a lot of people in the state have heard about over there in Berrien Springs, but an outstanding athlete, 6'6", 237 pounds, very athletic, runs a 4.5, can jump out of the gym, has only played football for a couple years, and that's why some offers came late. He was committed to Missouri. Michigan and Notre Dame came in and offered him. He picks the Irish, where he's going to play outside linebacker in the 3-4. I think he's athletic enough to do that and make that transition and play in space. Still not polished, but maybe the most upside in the state.
Right. A couple more guys who are Big Ten bound. We'll go to Kyle first. And Lawrence Marshall, we've heard a lot about him over the last couple of years. Now he's finally getting ready to go to the next level.
A little Michigan and Michigan State flavor for me, starting with Lawrence, obviously. Biggest thing from his junior to senior year was he was more of a pass rusher when he was younger. He was able to add some weight. His senior year, he was able to play the run. He was able to play the pass. I had a chance to see him in Orlando at the Offense-Defense Bowl against guys who are all going to the next level, high major Division I prospects, and he did a nice job. He was one of the better performers in that game. So you have to like how his game translates as he heads off to Ann Arbor. Then you talk about Jalen Watts-Jackson, a young man out of Orchard Lake St. Mary's, wide receiver, defensive back, could play on either side of the ball. A big-time playmaker. Had a chance to see him a few times, this past fall. I like what he brings to the table. He's got great ball skills.
Right, and real quickly, a guy we did not see all season. We were expecting to just be awed by the way he performed his junior year, Drake Harris. He is number 1 on our list. Still tremendous upside.
Absolutely. I mean, that list is about how they're going to play in college, not what they did as a senior. He still has a chance to be really special at Michigan.
Absolutely. All right, good stuff, gentlemen. This same cast of characters will join me again later in the show to talk about the class of 2015. You do not want to miss that. We're just getting started, so don't go anywhere. Our second annual State Champs Signing Day special, presented by Lawrence Tech, is coming right back.
We want you. We are LTU, Lawrence Technological University, and is one of the nation's best schools for engineering, architecture, and technology. We don't want just anybody. We want students who are curious and driven, students who want to change the world through technology, science, and design. So if you believe that possible is everything, we want you at LTU.
Does your company want the attention of the high school market? State Champs Sports Network will customize and maximize your message through our ever-expanding multimedia machine. Email Mark Rottenberg, markr@statechampsnetwork.com, and join the winning team.
Welcome to Pirani's Hockey World, the toy store for hockey players. They have been outfitting beginners, professionals, and teams since 1976. Pirani's has an experienced, knowledgeable staff, the largest selection, and simply the best prices. In fact, Pirani's has the best price guarantee. Now, if you can find a better price, they will beat it by 5%. Come to one of their 22 locations or log on to hockeyworld.com for amazing savings and to join the Pirani's E-Club for special offers all year long. It's always hockey season at Pirani's.
Welcome back to our second annual State Champs Signing Day special. My name is Lauren Plant, joined now by Justin Sasante. Justin is Director of Community Relations for Hype Athletics Community and Hype Football Series in Dearborn. He's also a former linebacker from the Grand Valley Glory days and is a current coach at Detroit Catholic Central. How you doing, my friend?
I'm well. Thank you for having me.
All right, Hype Football. Tell me about it.
Hype Football. Hype Football Series is a program based for youth and high school football players to develop skills and really leave a fingerprint in the state of Michigan in development, educational-wise and on the field through speed and agility, showcases, camps, and clinics.
Yeah, and the program has grown exponentially over the last few years. You've got a big signing day happening on Wednesday. As many as 25 guys. What's this all about?
We're celebrating all the kids from the city all the way to Ithaca and Lapeer, coming down to all these guys were associated with Hype, whether training with us or 7-on-7 football team or coming to our showcases. And we're just really congratulating them on signing a letter of intent to their college. We have guys like Malik McDowell, Lawrence Marshall, Avante Maddox, Jalen Embry, Jalen Watts-Jackson, Kyle Rockwell, Dylan Roney, some big names. 7 out of the top 25 guys out of the Detroit News will be in attendance, and we're just excited to celebrate this special day with them.
We are super excited. Can't wait to be there. Thank you, Justin. All right, let's send it back to the main stage now, where Kyle and Alan will get into some MAC and even some GLIAC football. Guys?
Thanks, Lauren. It is now time to discuss some of the top signees in the Mid-America Conference, the GLIAC, and, of course, a special mention of the MIAA. I'm Kyle Bogenschutz alongside Scout.com Midwest Recruiting Manager Alan True. We can start in the MAC as you kind of take a peek at some of the top talent headed in and out of the state of Michigan. A lot of Western Michigan flavor, though, in that top 5.
PJ Fleck has come in and landed an outstanding recruiting class in his first season there. They have a top 50 national class, and I think the biggest kind of the biggest thing for that class was keeping those kids committed. A lot of BCS schools came in and offered some of those guys. Chikuma Okorafor got offers from Florida, Iowa, schools like that. He stuck with the Broncos. Asante Brown picked up an offer from Minnesota. He stuck with them. And so really, really great class for Western.
Talking about Okorafor, you see that every year, BCS schools coming in late on some guys, and he's a guy you've seen for quite some time.
Yeah, big offensive tackle. I think he really blossomed as a senior because he hadn't played a lot of football before that, and once schools got to see that film, that's when all those big offers started coming in.
To round that out, a big offensive tackle headed off to Ball State to round out your top 5.
Yeah, Malik King, a big reason Muskegon's had success over the last 2 years. They run that veer, and being able to run behind a 6'5", 275-pound guy, that's gotten them deep into the playoffs both seasons. He played left tackle for them. I think he's going to move inside and really be an outstanding guard, for Ball State, who had some success with the last guy they got out of the Muskegon area, Willie Snead.
So we talked Western Michigan. There's also Eastern Michigan, Central Michigan. Eastern in a little bit of a transition right now. Yep. Central also doing a good job in state.
Well, Chris Creighton came in and had a tough job to round out that recruiting class for Eastern Michigan. Got 3 in-state linemen I really like. Jeremy Hickey from Brother Rice, one of those guys. So he put together a good class late. Central Michigan always does well in state. Amari Coleman, an athlete from New Lothrop, who I think can play slot. He can play corner. Excellent player for them.
Moving on to the GLIAC, you can see the top 5 that you have. And again, Western Michigan with 3 in the MAC. You got 3 going to Grand Valley in the GLIAC.
Yeah, they recruit well every year, and this year they had a couple of guys who I think fit into what they do offensively. Mitch Von Zitwitz, a tight end who's athletic, can catch the ball. They can split him out a little bit. Devin Spalding, a kid who can do a lot of things in space. Central came and offered him a gray shirt, so they're having to fight to hang on to him. And then Fair State always has they've had several great recruiting classes under Tony Anise. Hunter Laster is a kid that was committed to Central, so they get a D1 kid bouncing back to Ferris.
Ferris State, obviously they land 2 in that top 5, and also Wayne State able to kind of keep things going here in Detroit.
Yeah, absolutely. And they, more than just Detroit, they stepped over on the west side, got a kid I'm very familiar with, Logan Smith, wide receiver from Mona Shores. They even went out of state, got a kid from Chicago, Taj Hartley. Of course, their recruiting base is in Detroit, though, so a lot of great in-state players heading off to be Warriors.
And obviously, I'd like to give a special shout-out to all the kids continuing their education and athletic careers headed to the MIAA. Coming up, let the debate begin. We talk 2014 classes for Michigan and Michigan State. Strap yourselves in as we welcome in Sam Webb and Rico Beard to the State Champs Signing Day Special presented by Lawrence Tech.
Does your company want the attention of the high school market? State Champ Sports Network will customize and maximize your message through our ever-expanding multimedia machine. Email Mark Ruttenberg, markr@statechampsnetwork.com, and join the winning team.
We want you. We are Lawrence Technological University, and we don't want just anybody. We want students who are curious and driven, students with a passion for hard work and good times, students who will move right in and shoot for the best that Lawrence Tech Southfield campus has to offer. So if you believe that everything is possible and that possible is everything, we want you at LTU.
When you have NBA League Pass.
Well, enjoy everyone.
Honey, there's a glare.
All you want to do is watch NBA League Pass. NBA League Pass on Xfinity from Comcast lets you watch the games you want on all your devices. Order now for the half-season price of just 4 payments of $27.25.
Your home for the most live sports. Xfinity.
Welcome back to the second annual State Champs Signing Day Special. Michigan versus Michigan State. Which school is perceived to have the upper hand this year? Stay tuned. But first, everything we do here on the State Champs Sports Network is because of our amazing partnership with Lawrence Technological University. The fastest growing athletic program in the state, that's right, I said it, is at LTU. Joining me now is the athletic director at Lawrence Tech, Scott Trudeau. Scott, how you doing, man?
Good. How are you, Lauren?
All right. So, again, I say that because I know this, and just talk about the growth of the athletic program just over the last year or so.
Yeah, just in the last year, we've added another 5 teams. So it's been, we had 0 teams 3 years ago, as far as the varsity program, and now we're up to 14 this year. Golf and tennis coming on next year, so it's a very busy place.
Yeah, so talk about the programs that you've added recently, or launching or getting set to launch?
Yeah, we have our men's and women's golf and tennis are both on board. Our coaches are on board recruiting right now, so they're very busy. I actually met with a tennis player, potential player today, who was on campus for a visit, prospect out of Howell, their number one player. So coaches are busy. They're all over in golf program. They're recruiting in Canada and Mexico. So they're going international with the golf program.
Right, and with the fact that you now have all these student athletes at school, you now have a very enriched campus life. Talk about that.
Yeah, it's great to see, some of the blue and the white in the crowd, students coming out to support their fellow students. It's nice, the small classroom, that you stand out. You can't get away with skipping class or anything like that. So our student athletes, they're engaged in the classroom. So they're bringing out their friends to the games, and it's fun to see. It's great to see, the families, the friends, everyone coming out. Our mascot, we have a pep band this year, which is awesome. Yeah. It really adds to the atmosphere of the basketball games. It's just having this pep band where it's all made of student body, and they're having a good time with it.
It's all happening at Lawrence Tech. Scott, appreciate it. Yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen, the time has come. Who's going to Michigan? Who's going to Michigan State? Kyle Bogenschutz, Rico Beard, Sam Webb, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Lauren. Two gentlemen as eager as ever to delve right into the topic and ongoing battle that is Michigan and Michigan State. To my left is Sam Webb, publishing editor of GoBlueWolverine.com in affiliation with Scout.com, co-host of the Michigan Insider on Sports Talk 1050 WTKA, and to his left, a man that covers Michigan State for SpartanMag.com in affiliation with Rivals.com, also the co-host of the Ryan and Rico Show on 105.1 FM Sports Talk. Gentlemen, welcome. I think we have to start. Rico, I understand you brought a special something to commemorate Michigan State's Big Ten championship and Rose Bowl victory.
Well, actually, Kyle, first of all, thank you for having me on the show, and good seeing Sam. I realized that in seeing Sam, I hadn't seen him in a while, I got him a souvenir because he's my boy. And he's never been to Indianapolis for the Big Ten championship game. So I
take a look at that.
Right there where you can kind of see, because Michigan's never been there, even with Derek Green, that, So I just wanted to let you get a feel of what it felt like to be in Indianapolis.
Rico, I have to commend you and Michigan State's program because on that poster should be a sign, did it drug-free, did it without cheating. It's kind of like if you ever seen the movie New Jack City, how Chris Rock was the rehab guy. At one point he was all dirty and then he came out clean. That's Michigan State. Just here's the thing, don't relapse. Don't relapse because then you go back to being old Michigan State. You want to stay being new Michigan State.
I could think of probably 5 out of 6 reasons why they won't relapse.
Okay. Well, on the field, it's been one-sided a little bit. Off the field, we need to get to a little bit of recruiting. This is the signing day special presented by Lawrence Tech. So let's talk Michigan State to start, since they were Big Ten champions and Rose Bowl champions. Michigan State pulls in a nice class to follow up on some of the talented classes that they've had. Some of the guys maybe that stand out to you when you take a look at it from the outside, Rico.
I think probably the biggest names that you want to talk about would be Monte Nicholson. Getting him, he's the number one player out of Pennsylvania. That was a big thing. Probably a good thing that James Franklin is there now, and they got him beforehand, because I think that the state of Pennsylvania, Franklin's going to close down that wall. He's going to recruit a lot better for Penn State. But getting Monte Nicholson, a safety/wide receiver, they're going to use him primarily wherever they can get him on the field first. Mark D'Antonio likes to get the best 22 on the field regardless of position. You saw that with Jeremy Langford and Tony Lippett. Both were once corners, and now they're wide receivers and the running back. Also, I think a big name was Matt Sokol, tight end from Rochester. Rochester Adams, or is it Rochester?
Rochester Adams.
Okay. He's coming in as a tight end. And that's a position that they're very young in. The good thing for Matt is Matt early enrolled, so he'll be there to play in the spring game. That'll give him an opportunity to maybe get into the mix. Also, you have Enoch Smith Jr. coming out of Chicago. It's big that they were able to finally break that Chicago barrier, and they're bringing in like 3 or 4 guys from the city of Chicago. Enoch Smith Jr. on the defensive line will help, in keeping that line strong. They rotate a lot of players in. There's a chance that he may play, but he'll probably end up redshirting. The 2 guys, Monte Nicholson, maybe one of the newest members in the no-fly zone in the secondary, and then you'll also have Matt Sokol at tight end.
Taking a look at Michigan, obviously a highly rated class again, although maybe a little further down than past years. things start with the number 3 overall player in the country with Jabril Peppers. Some other guys along with him maybe that stand out that could impact early as Michigan maybe might need some.
Yeah, I got to say, Monte Nicholson is an outstanding prospect that Michigan even recruited. But when you grab a guy like Jabril Peppers, it kind of sets your defensive backfield recruiting class on its ear. I mean, he is the guy that when you look at Michigan's class, he defines it. He's a transcendent player in that he's a player that could be a running back, he could be a receiver, he could be a corner, he could be a safety. I think Michigan is probably going to start him out at corner. I think he's going to challenge immediately for one of the starting spots, and if he doesn't earn that, then he'll be at the nickel spot. And I think that might be more like Michigan's base defense because you're talking about a kid who's about 5'11", maybe about 200 pounds. He's a legit track star with a 10.500 meter time, 21.3 200. He is one of those players that you hear all the comparisons about to Charles Woodson, and I understand them. I think he has that type of athleticism. I'm always hesitant, though, to say he's going to be the next guy. What we know is he has that type of swag. He has a type of ability. I think he's an immediate impact guy. After that, you talk about the early enrollees, much like Rico did with Michigan State. You look at Drake Harris, who was committed to Michigan State at one point, said, I want to go to a football school. That's not my words. Those are the words of his dad. That's no problem.
Pull up the headline again.
It was fine.
But anyway,
he likes wings.
He's a guy.
Buffalo wings.
He's a guy that by coming in early will benefit from the strength and conditioning program immediately, especially when you're missing your entire senior season with injury. So I think that benefits him. Another receiver, Freddie Canteen, who I know you saw, is another kid, an early enrollee wide receiver that'll have a chance to get on the football field right away. And then I'll end with Brian Monet, an Under Armour All-American, a top 100 defensive tackle. He's about 6'3", 6'4", 315 pounds. And there's going to be an opportunity for him to get on the field right away as an early enrollee, especially with the uncertainty with Andre Pipkins and his recovery in Michigan.
And we will find out where Paul Bunyan will land next fall. Michigan State again gets to host Michigan.
Paul Bunyan pays property taxes.
I will say that I do respect what Michigan State did this year. It was an outstanding season, an outstanding defense, and I got to commend Mark D'Antonio. See, I love Coach D. I love Coach D'Antonio because he did it clean, and that's something that Michigan State has never done, Rico. So I got to commend you for that.
And with that, we could go all day, gentlemen. We're going to have to cut you off there. Don't go anywhere. Appreciate you guys coming on the show. When we return, we discussed who the next blue chips could be in the state of Michigan, part of a very talented 2015 class on the State Champ Signing Day Special, presented by Lawrence Tech.
We want you. We are LTU, Lawrence Technological University, and is one of the nation's best schools for engineering, architecture, and technology. We don't want just anybody. We want students who are curious and driven, students who want to change the world through technology, science, and design. So if you believe that possible is everything, we want you at LTU.
Does your company want the attention of the high school market? State Champ Sports Network will customize and maximize your message through our ever-expanding multimedia machine. Email Mark Rottenberg, markr@statechampsnetwork.com, and join the winning team. Welcome back. Hard to believe our final segment already of our second annual State Champs Signing Day Special presented by Lawrence Tech. Tom Markowski, Kyle Bogenschutz, and Alan True back on stage with me. What we want to talk about, gentlemen, the class of 2015. Who's next? Who's the next big star? Who's going to be our blue chippers next year? I think this is a situation where there's a lot of talent in this group, no doubt about it. Let's talk about some of them. We'll start with Kyle. And boy, that lineman out at Northville is a big boy.
Well, a couple guys I want to talk about, similar school colors. You talk about David Moorman, 6'5", 270 pounds, very athletic, a basketball player, extremely physical at the point of attack, and a kid who wants to engage in all that, wants to try and run that defensive lineman down the field. Love what I see out of him. I think he's a great prospect in the Midwest. And then you talk about Alex Malzone, quarterback out of Brother Rice. State championships, he's got the rocket arm, he's got good mechanics. I love him. I think he's a quarterback that should be a high priority for a lot of schools in the Midwest, and you can't necessarily overlook what he's done as a leader and a quarterback who just wins games.
There's no question about it. The poise that Alex Malzone has, he deserves to be number one on this list. He's just amazing, and who knows what's going to happen his senior year. I just think there may be some records that will be enshrined in his name forever. Let's go to Saginaw Heritage. Brian Cole.
And I love Alex Malzone, but I think Brian Cole might have the most upside potential of any kid on the list. 6'2", 210 pounds. I've seen him get from point A to point B. He says he's timed at 4.33. I can't verify that, but he is fast. I know that.
Yes.
He's played tailback. He's played free safety. He's played wide receiver. He could grow into a linebacker in college. There's so much you can do with him, and that is why big-time programs are finding out where Heritage High School is up there in Saginaw. And then you have a linebacker in Tyreek Thompson, who transferred in, had a great season for Detroit King. They use him in a lot of ways. He's a blitzer. He can come off the edge. He can play purely in the middle. He's built himself up into a full-time linebacker now after playing safety. Also a very smart kid. He's one of the best students in that class, and that's why schools like Northwestern, Michigan State have offered him.
Yeah, no question about it. Let's stay in the Detroit Public School League. Let's go to Cass Tech and a running back that we were all wowed by this past season.
Michael Weber, I think, is the best running back in the state coming back for his senior year next year. Just a tough, bruising type of runner, but once he gets into the secondary, really can turn on the speed and run by those defensive backs. Great kid, great quotes. I love talking to Michael. I like even watching him run the ball better. You know, and go to Oak Park. John Kelly, who's also a running back, but talking to his coach and his coaching staff, they think he could be a defensive back in college. He does do a lot of kick returns for Oak Park, but he's just a playmaker. Saw him a number of times this year. He's a kid that can make the big plays at the big time.
Absolutely. Gentlemen, thank you. Great insight. You can read Tom Markowski's excellent high school sports coverage every day in the Detroit News and DetroitNews.com. Recruiting.scout.com for Alan True. Kyle Bogenschutz. You can watch Kyle's exclusive Recruit Report every Sunday night at 7:30 p.m. with me on Comcast Channel 900 as part of our Comcast Sports Sideline Review. That is a Comcast exclusive. You can also now hear him on 97.1 The Ticket. Jeez, what don't you do? Sam Webb and Rico Beard are on GoBlueWolverine.com and SpartanMag.com respectively. Sam can be heard mornings on WTKA The Ticket 1050 in Ann Arbor. Rico Beard weekends on Detroit Sports 105.1 FM. Of course, State Champs airs every Sunday at noon right here on CW50 and our Western Michigan version on WOTV ABC4. More Rivals and Legends specials on the way throughout 2014. Follow us on Twitter at StateChampsNet and like us on Facebook too. Signing day is this Wednesday, February 6th. State Champs, as well as our analysts tonight, will be all over it. Special thanks to Justin Sasante at Hype, and thank you Scott Trudeau and Lawrence Technological University. Good night. State Champs 2014 Signing Day Special is presented by Lawrence Technological University. Possible is everything. Go to ltu.edu for more information.
We want you. We are LTU, Lawrence Technological University, and is one of the nation's best schools for engineering, architecture, and technology. We don't want just anybody. We want students who are curious and driven, students who want to change the world through technology, science, and design. So if you believe that possible is everything, we want you at LTU.